Hi, everyone. I'm Matthew DeSantis.
And I'm Kaylie Shapiro.
And the Queen is running Sunday at Keeneland. Let's talk to Spinster and Thorpedo Anna on NYRA Bets. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Spinster Stakes preview for Sunday at Keeneland. This is myself, Matthew DeSantis, along with my colleague, Kaylie Shapiro here, and we are going to talk about a five-horse field that features last year's reigning horse of the year, the Queen, Thorpedo Anna. Kaylie, what is your level of excitement for Sunday? Because we're going to be at Keeneland following and watching this race.
Yes, I rarely miss a Thorpedo Anna race, no matter where she's running. Absolutely love jumping at any opportunity to see her run. Yeah. So really excited for Sunday. Probably like a 12 on a scale of 1 to 10. In the previous races, I'd say I was at an 11 because I was a little anxious. Not a little anxious, I'm always pretty confident in her, but the fields were tougher.
Yeah.
Here, I think I'm going to walk in there easy peasy, maybe as cool and calm and collected as Anna.
Well, we'll see. It's interesting confidence coming from Kaylie for Thorpedo Anna. And listen, this is going to be a really fun race to obviously watch here, the final prep before the Breeders' Cup Distaff, if she ends up going there. So let's talk about this five-horse field, though. And we're going 1.125 miles at Keeneland. And your main contenders to Thorpedo Anna, who, of course, won that very thrilling Personal Ensign last time out, the stretch runner with Darth Vader, earned a 100 buyer speed figure. She laid it all out on the line there in the stretch. I thought for sure Darth Vader had her at the top of the stretch, and then she dug in and she showed what a champion is, because that's what won that race. No disrespect to Brian Hernandez, who did a great job riding her that day, but that was a champion's class winning out.
Absolutely. And no disrespect to Darth Vader, but
no, none at all.
She was very lucky to run second to the Queen that day. You know what I mean? Anna did
the two of them were so far clear of everybody else, though. Yeah.
Anna did all the dirty work in that race up on the front end. Yeah. She was the only woman left standing at the end of that race. And Darth Vader came out of nowhere and kept ground. And, to me, Anna was just so much more impressive.
Yes.
No one here can beat Anna if she runs the way that she did that day. They're all going to have to wake up with a new pair of legs if they're going to have to. I'm not trying to be rude, but really just even look at the figures. They all have to get 10 points faster?
Well, that's a great question. It's a great point you bring up. And one of the things I would say is, to the point about the Personal Ensign, she did do all the dirty work. Randomized, who was up on the front end, finished about 30 lengths back. And she wants to be a mom. That's pretty obvious, because after Randomized last race, she gave Chad Brown a note and she said, I want to be a mom. And so that's what she's going to do. But bottom line is,
that's a world-class filly.
Yeah.
Mare.
I've never really liked Randomized that much. But yeah, Randomized is one of those, I think, idiomatic exposed her for what she is last year in the Personal Ensign, which is, if you let her alone up front, she can wire the field. She's Lacara. But if you press her, see you later. And that's just kind of her MO. But to your point, Anna pressed her.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember what happened 2 years ago in the Personal Ensign, when Idiomatic did that to her, Raging Sea got to Idiomatic and won that race. It looked a little bit like it was going to be same song, second verse, but it wasn't. And Anna dug in and won that race. So really, like I said, impressive effort. She's got some great ability here. But here's the thing. You say about have to get 10 points faster. There's one filly mare who does not have to get 10 points faster, and that's the number 2 Scylla, 4-trainer Bill Mott. This is a horse that won the Fleur de Lis, going 1.125 miles. This is a horse that won the Shawnee and ran a 93 that day. This horse has some big speed figures and is stretching back out after really spending the last year sprinting, basically. So it's going to be interesting to see, but she's a very classy mare, and a one that just never really runs a bad race, but just hasn't gotten into the winner's circle since that Fleur de Lis last year at Churchill Downs.
Obviously, she's a world-class mare. She's great. I have her second just because Bill Mott put her in this spot.
Yeah.
To me, that sticks out like a sore thumb. Why would Bill Mott be stretching her out now for the first time in over a year?
Yeah.
That to me is a big question mark. But yeah, she's running mid 90s to high 90s sprinting, but she's going to have to really improve on that 87 that she got the last time that she went 1.125 miles. Her figures when she was routing were never up to par with the figure she runs when she's sprinting.
It's true.
So to me, I mean, I'm not really too concerned. I think that she has a really good shot at running second, but I just don't think that she's going to go 1 1/8 for the first time in over a year and beat Thorpedo Anna.
Well, it's interesting. Before Puka came along, Closed Hatches was kind of the broodmare that everybody talked about because, of course, Scylla is the sibling to Tacitus, as well as Batten Down, who won that Ohio Derby for Bill Mott last year. And it really had produced some really nice runners. And Scylla, again, a very classy mare, stretching back out. Mott has not had a lot of success going sprint to 2 turns and over a mile. If you look at the numbers and you go sprint to route, you get a lot of Cody's Wish going a mile, but as well as obligatory, as well as just FYI going a mile. So it's a little deceiving, but when you actually look at sprint to 1 1/16 or longer, only 1 for 11 over the last 5 years. So it's not necessarily the most winning move, but the fact he puts her in this spot would certainly indicate she must be training well. And maybe it is a little bit of like, hey, we can't get over the hump in the sprints, so we're going to go back to the routes where she's had success. She's won at Keeneland before. She's won at the distance before. So there are some positives there at 4-1 on the morning line.
Definitely. And that's why I have her second.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she's even in this race says something for Mott to place her here, but you said it perfectly. I mean, she cannot get into the winner's circle no matter what type of race she runs.
Yeah.
She has not been in the winner's circle since the Fleur-de-Lis.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the idea here.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a really tall task to stretch out to this distance against a really nice field. I mean, I know that Nitrogen is you'd imagine she's a turf horse.
I think she is too.
Although she ran 2 really good races on the dirt, she's 2 for 2 on the dirt. I like Nitrogen as well in this spot because I know that she can get the distance effectively.
Yes.
This one, Scylla, I'm taking a shot in her, putting her second because she's a bigger price and because Mott put her here.
Yeah.
And I have trust in what he's doing with his horses. But to me, I just don't know how today's the day that any of these horses get into the winner's circle. Scylla hasn't won since last year.
Yeah, no, she hasn't. And the thing is about Scylla is what sort of speed is she going to show? I mean, when she went out west in Del Mar, she went to the front going 1 1/16. She went to the front last time out in the Ballerina, sprinting 7 furlongs at Saratoga. So, she could show that early speed. Now, one thing we should note about Thorpedo Anna, rather than just glossing over her, she has a new rider for the first time in her career. Brian Hernandez, of course, had sustained a pretty serious injury. We're obviously wishing him a very fast recovery. He's hoping to get back for the Breeders' Cup. But in place of Brian Hernandez is the reigning jockey of the year, Flavien Prat, taking over the mount. That's an interesting dynamic. Now, Thorpedo Anna draws beautifully to the outside. Prat can play the break in a lot of ways. If a horse like Scylla wants to gun it to the front, if a horse like Jin, who I'm going to talk about in a second, wants to go, Prat can, of course, take this horse and kind of have her just off the pace a little bit. She's got that sort of versatility. But it is going to be the first time that she has a new jockey aboard for a race. And, there might be a feeling out process in those early stages. I don't know if Pratt's been riding her at all in the morning or just been around her a little bit more. Obviously, he's been around her in a lot of big races throughout her career, but it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic.
I'd imagine he's hopped aboard and galloped her in the morning. I mean, that would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
But for sure, I mean, she drew to the far outside just like she did in the Personal Ensign.
Yep.
She had a beautiful trip that day with Brian Hernandez. Obviously, he's a great jockey. I hope he recovers fast.
Yeah.
And obviously, I wish, he was riding her. But at the same time, Flavien Prat, I'm pretty excited to see what he could do aboard Anna. Yeah. I mean, Brian Hernandez has done an amazing, beautiful job with her as well as he's done with Mystic Dan.
Yeah, yes.
But Anna, to me, is a little different than Mystic Dan. Like, here's the thing. Like, Brian Hernandez, like, Mystic Dan might... Well, he just won without him too. So that's pretty interesting. But he's done a really good job of navigating the trips to put that horse in the best spot possible to win. Yeah. Anna... She seems like she has a lot less quirks maybe than Mystic Dan, or she may not need as perfect of a trip. So I'm just excited to see what maybe the best jockey in the country can do aboard on top of her. It's pretty exciting.
It is. And listen, Mystic Dan, huge fan of Churchill Downs. I think that's more than anything else. He is a horse for course to some extent. Some people believe in that. Some people don't. I don't always believe in it. But if there is a dirt course that people really love, it is Churchill Downs. I remember the Mare Obligatory always ran well at Churchill. You got her outside of Churchill, not so good. But, Mystic Dan's kind of the same way. Like, he just wins at Churchill. Like, that's what he does. Thorpedo Anna, the great thing about her, she wins everywhere. You take her to Saratoga, you take her to Churchill, you take her to Oaklawn, you take her to Keeneland, she's going to win. So that's cool. Impressive.
I mean, full circle moment, right? She's ending up back at Keeneland. The only time that we've seen her at Keeneland was on debut when she broke her maiden. So that's
in a restricted sales price race.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. It was for mares, I think it was $50,000 and less, and she was $40,000. Restricted company to the reigning horse of the year, and potentially another big title in her future this year. I'm going to talk a little bit about Jin. I listen. I like Brendan Walsh a lot. You and I were there in the spring, actually, at Keeneland when she won the double dog dare. And that was the day that Just FY just kind of like seized up, it seemed like, and just kind of like dropped out of the race. But she inherited the lead in a lot of ways. And then you had a group of like Tarifa and Candide who just couldn't get to her. And she just got brave up on the lead and was like, all right, see you guys. And she ran a 96. She came back and ran, I thought, a pretty good second in the Shawnee as well at Churchill Downs. She has won her only time at Keeneland. The mile and 1/8 is a question mark, though she has won at the distance before, at Aqueduct, actually, over a sloppy track in that Busanda. But what I like about this one is a little bit of time off. Notice when she ran big in the double dog dare, a little bit of time off. All right. So coming in and look at that bullet last time out, 46-3, 4 furlong bullet out of the gate, going 4 furlongs. Where? At Keeneland, first of 38. I think this one likes Keeneland a lot. I think this one's going to put in a really good effort. Listen, I have her second. I don't have her first. But Keeneland can be a little bit of a merry-go-round sometimes. And if she gets up front with Louis Saez aboard, I think she's going to be a tough customer. And again, I think mile and 16th is probably her best distance, but I think she can get the mile and 1/8 under the right conditions. And I think she can at least run well under these conditions. 6-1, I'm not as big a fan of Nitrogen on the dirt. I agree with you. She's a turf horse who's taking advantage of the fact that this is a very muddled 3-year-old dirt division for the 3-year-old fillies. And she's just kind of the class of that group right now. But you look at how that Alabama's run back, wolf. All right. I mean, Good Cheer just ran a nothing race in the Cotillion. And then Margie's Intention ran fine in the Beldame, but didn't really stand out in any way. I don't have any confidence that Nitrogen's going to be able to step up against older, really battle-tested mares in this spot.
Well, for me, with Jin, I think you could be onto something about her running a good race and loving Keeneland. But to me, I just cannot get over the fact that I do not think she wants a mile and 1/8 whatsoever. I mean, to me, she ran the double dog dare. That was going a mile and a 16th off the layoff. Now she's going a mile and 1/8. And if Scylla wasn't in the race, I would probably have Jin in my top 3. I just think that Scylla could present a little bit of a challenge up on the front end with Jin and maybe burn her out a little bit. And that was my concern with her. I just don't really know what she wants to do at this point. And you can see Jose Ortiz, who was aboard for the double dog dare. And the 2 races after that ends up on Nitrogen. That's the filly that he chose to go with here. So I'm using Nitrogen in third. I mean, whichever way you go about it, clearly we both believe Anna's a singles.
We do.
Over, but you want to try to make some money and get a little creative underneath. I mean, I like Scylla in second. I put Nitrogen third just because Jose stays aboard. He always rides well at Keeneland.
He does.
And then also Nitrogen, I think, can close into the pace a little bit and pick up third. To me, I'm not
she
saying,
can get the distance.
Maybe she's not a true dirt horse, but clearly she runs well on both. And clearly she knows how to make up ground. And she's a big filly. I mean, to me, she makes all the sense in the world in third. She can pick that up. She can make up ground. So
I'm fading her. I don't know. I
don't like Jin.
I don't. Well, and it's funny. I don't like that 3-year-old filly crop. It's not that I don't like them. I think there's a lot of nice fillies in that group. But man, it's different from some of the past years when you had the Malafats and the Clariers and the Thorpedo Annas of the world, where you said, wow, they can step up and run against the olders and no problem. You look at this year, it was such a promising year too, because you had Immersive, you had Good Cheer, you had all the, and you go, wow, okay, maybe this is another super filly. didn't really pan out. Maybe Immersive is getting back to what she did as a 2-year-old, but
she is.
I think, Cox has taken the long road with her, getting her back. And I think she's the most promising out of that whole group. But that 3-year-old division just doesn't pop for me in the same way it has in years past, where I would go, oh, this one clearly can step up and run against older and really hold her own in that spot. I just don't see it anymore. And I just, that's one of the reasons why I'm just trying to get maybe too creative. Maybe I'm trying to be too smart and trying to get past Nitrogen.
No,
but I want to
I
see her run against older for the first time, especially on the dirt.
I don't think you're getting too creative. I think Jin makes a lot of sense. I mean, to me, I just didn't like her for those reasons. She can prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think Scylla being in the race is a problem for her.
It could be.
But I think that what you brought up about the 3-year-old crop just in general is very interesting. I mean, to me, we saw a good cheer ran back at Parks and the Cotillion, and that she didn't run a step. And then you can look at that and say, well, what did Nitrogen really beat then in the Alabama?
Right.
But Good Cheer ran her eyeballs out that day in the Alabama, and Nitrogen held her off.
Yeah.
Just so happens that Good Cheer probably now wants to be a mom after putting all of those efforts in.
Yeah.
She was undefeated. She ran her eyeballs out in the Alabama. She might just be done. So I didn't really let that turn me off of Nitrogen picking up third.
Listen, it's going to be a lot of fun, though, because we both have Thorpedo Anna top. We both say she's a single in this spot. I just think Prat has so many options. If she wants to go straight to the front, she can. The thing about Scylla, and here's the other thing, is there isn't a horse like Randomized in this race that needs the lead. Because Jin doesn't need the lead. Jin can sit second or third and win. Scylla can sit second or third and win. So if Flavien decides we're going to the front, then the other two are going to go, well, okay, that's fine. We'll sit second or third. That's kind of our preferred trip anyway. We don't need to be up in the lead. So whoever gets up in the lead, it's not going to be a contested pace in terms of nobody's going to be going 46 to the half and trying to really run each other into the ground. So I just think no matter how it plays out at the break, it's a short field. Now, I do have the voice of Richie Migliori in my head. When Richie says to me, short fields, that's when favorites always get in the most trouble. And, because everybody's targeting, where's Anna? Where's Anna? Where's Anna? And they try to, but she's on the outside. I think Flavien just keeps her out of trouble and says, hey, let's go and have a fun day.
Yeah, and I could see her rating off of maybe Scylla. I do wonder, I have more interest in what they're going to do with Scylla. Like, do you think that she's going to go out to the lead, or do you think?
I think she can. I mean, if she can get to the lead going to 7 furlongs, she certainly can get to the lead going a mile and an eighth. I mean, she's got that sort of speed.
That's what I wonder is their idea coming into this race and why she's even here.
And in a 5-horse field, I don't see Junior getting cute with this one. Like, I think he just goes.
Right.
And the fact that she's been sprinting, she can get out of the gate well. I don't know. I mean, I just think back to that Clement Hirsch, which was the last time she routed. Listen, she ran a big race that day. She ran second to a Dare Manor, who was a real nice mare for Baffert. And she shipped all the way across the country for that race. And what did she do? She went straight to the lead. So I think she can go straight to the lead. And then that allows Jin and Anna to kind of sit off that pace.
I think
I'd imagine. But listen, sometimes we were talking with some people yesterday. They said that inside rail at Keeneland can be a little bit of an escalator, and if Junior gets that inside rail in the lead, that could be dangerous for Scylla, potentially. So we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's for sure. Can't wait. Absolutely. But thanks so much for tuning in to this episode on NYRA Bets YouTube previewing the Spinster. Make sure to check out all of our other coverage, whether it is at Belmont at the Big A, Keeneland, Santa Anita. We got you covered. For Kaylie Shapiro, my name is Matthew DeSantis. We're going to be rooting on Thorpedo Anna on Sunday, but we are wishing you a great and prosperous day at the races and reminding you, friends, it's now post time.